A micromanager is someone that a company hires to make their top talent walk away. And the practice of this in America has absolutely got to stop. Not only is it not an effective management technique, but it drives all your good people away. And anybody that had a chance of even just doing a mediocre job for you is going to be so demoralized that they no longer want to work in your environment, and they will exit either through you getting rid of them or them finding another job as quickly as possible to get the heck out of there so that they can get away from you. So I don't know why this practice is still prevalent. It really started heavily in the 80s and it hasn't stopped since. Some companies and leaders, thank goodness for like leadership development series that people learn that this stuff is absolute garbage and not just ineffective, but anti any kind of progress for the employer-employee relationship is going forward. So micromanagement is the process by which a usually low-level or new manager, or sometimes some curmudgeon that they've not gotten rid of for God knows why, that instead of simply doing the job of training, developing, and helping, being a servant leader to people, which is why managers are hired. Remember, guys, this is no longer a production employee. They're not making the company any money. They're simply overseeing and helping other people. That's why they're there. They're not there to have them have a bad time, make them miserable, and slow down production, which is what micromanagement does. And then you have this person, and then what they do is every little thing that you do or perceived slight or anything that you do wrong, they document it, and then they bring it up, and they make you feel bad about yourselves and bad about the job. And there's no positive encouragement, and there's no good employee recognition of things that you're trying to do as you're trying to learn and develop yourself. And it basically smushes you down till you're about this big and makes you hate being there and kind of hate yourself. So why would this possibly happen ever if basic common sense would tell us that this happens? Well, it happens because the manager is insecure. Point blank. Is that the manager does not have the skills to train people, to develop people, and to help them be successful. So instead, what they do is they nickel and dime every little action that they have, and they just get down on them to make themselves lift up and feel better by pushing the other person down because you're not at my level, you're not a manager. But it's a stupid and foolish technique to employ. And companies, unfortunately, don't seem to be able, the bigger they get, the worse this problem can be. To be able to identify the problem, it's not that hard to identify. Simply have your HR person in your company do a turnover report by manager and look at how the good manager are able to keep the majority of their people and the bad managers constantly lose people. And the stories and the excuses of what they are that are down here from the bad manager about why people go out are not being had by this person. This person is spending all their time building the people up, showing them how to do things, being there to help them, being both a friend and a trainer to the person to let them know that they're in there with them to make sure that they're successful. And this person is just criticizing and is just writing down what is wrong. Now, do we have to outprocess people that aren't productive? We all know that we absolutely do, guys. You have to get rid of people that, aren't doing the job, don't want to do the job, and really shouldn't be there in the first place, right? So if that's the case, you have to get rid of those people, but it should never be more than 20% of the people on the team that have been turned over. That's a pretty sure sign that something is really wrong. Most companies shoot for about 12% turnover or under. So if you have 20% plus on a team, unless it's a really high production paced business where they have to have a certain number of sales or something like that, that's a pretty sure sign that the manager is the problem there, guys. Or the manager needs to be trained to develop themselves. And if you haven't trained and developed the manager as a company, you just put them in place and they'll be a good manager, and then you just watched, then you screwed up as a company and didn't do your job either. And the manager above them screwed up by not training and developing that manager. Goes all the way up the chain. So the reason that I bring this up is just because I just constantly get comments from people. I get questions from people about this problem over, how do I deal with my manager that's micromanaging me? I'm trying to do a good job. They won't get off my back. I can't be productive. They're always negative, all this stuff. And really, if you're a manager of any kind in America and you have very high turnover on your team, or you're a business owner or a leader and you're seeing this on your teams, it's because your managers haven't been trained and developed on what they're supposed to be there doing. They are not there to babysit people and to get after them for little things. They're there to help the people and make them successful. And if they don't have that frame of mind from the top of the company on down, then the leadership hasn't done its job. So please, can we stop the micromanagement in America? Because it's not just ineffective, it's absolutely hurting businesses everywhere and in people everywhere and making their work lives miserable, and it just doesn't help. It's non-productive. Let me know your thoughts.